or Kesha. It's a famous sound hadith. And in it, we learn, the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I saw the ummah at the place of gathering. And I saw that my ummah had filled all of the flat places and the mountains, and I was delighted by their number and the way that they looked. He was so pleased, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then it was said to me, O Muhammad, are you satisfied? And I said, yes. And then it was said to me, and amongst them are 70,000 who will enter paradise without reckoning, بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. And the Sahaba said, who are they, Ya Rasulullah? This elite, this is the spiritual elite. And he said, those who do not cauterize, those who do not use unlawful charms, those who do not take omens from birds, and those who rely on their Lord. And here he indicates three of the practices of the Jahiliyyah, that people who had some vague belief in a sky god but really were interested in magically manipulating creation, thought actually had power rather than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A certain type of primitive medicine that was thought in itself to cure. Certain types of occult spells and charms that were in themselves thought to have effectiveness. Trying to predict the future from the flight of birds. Jahili practices. Those who reject those things and rely on their Lord. So, Ukasha, one of the Sahaba, Ukasha al-Asadi, important Sahabi, stands up and says, Oh Rasulullah, pray to Allah that He might make me to be one of them. And so Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Allahumma ij'alhu minhum, Oh Allah, make him one of them. Somebody else, seeing this, stands up and says the same thing, Ya Rasulullah, pray to Allah to make me one of them. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Ukasha got there first. Yeah. Otherwise, all of the Sahaba would have stood up and said, let's have this dua, and it would have gone on for days. Ukasha, because of his pure heart and his intention, won the prize. It's a clear indication in Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim that there is spiritual elite amongst the Muslims, and that they are the people of tawakkul. We are the people of Tawheed, the Ummah of Tawheed. And the highest amongst the Ummah of Tawheed are those who let the message percolate deeply, like rain bringing life to the soil, deep into their hearts, and so that it brings forth this beautiful harvest of reliance on God. Those who truly see that He subhanahu wa ta'ala is the wakil. Those who truly say frequently, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is enough for us and an excellent guardian. They're the elite. So, this I'm proposing as a kind of barometer to measure the spiritual meteorology of our souls. What's the weather like deep down? Are there storms? Is there discomfort? Is there something wrong? Or is there sunshine and an atmosphere reminiscent of paradise? Hard to see. The great ones may sometimes see. We can't. Looking into the self is the hardest thing. Because the self is a hidden kingdom. The most mysterious thing in the world. Scientists can spend their lives constructing great theories of the universe, of subatomic particles, of the stars and the planets. And they can more or less come to some kind of conclusion as to how those stars and planets move and how the system works. The human heart is more mysterious than that. It's a hidden kingdom. It's a mystery within a mystery. As we know from our own behavior, often surprising us, as we know from the moods through which we swing, often unpredictable and apparently without cause, as we see in human relationships, people who quite unpredictably fall in love, people who tragically, equally unpredictably can fall out of love. The human soul, the mystery of human consciousness, is outside the reach of the scientist. Can't be seen with any telescope. And this is part of لَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. We have ennobled the descendants of Adam. Because there is something within us that is not of the world, of the stars and the planets and the subatomic particles. There's something within us that the scientist, therefore, that the tools of modernity cannot reach. And what is the basis of this nobility? Well, it's the thing which made it possible, amongst all of the glorious, many of them physically far more glorious aspects of creation than we ourselves, allowed the angels rightly, without breaking the rules of La ilaha illallah, to bow down to our forefather Adam alayhi salam. Our book begins with this apparent amazing challenge to the principle of La ilaha illallah. This is the book that's being given to the pagan Arabs to try and drag them away from the worshipping of occult idols and fetishes towards the worship of Allah wahdahu. And yet the book begins in Surah Al-Baqarah, towards the beginning, with Usjudu li Adam fasajadu illa Iblis. Prostrate to Adam. Prostrate to a creature. The angels who can't commit a sin. The angels who can't really be guilty of a misunderstanding, but simply obey. The angels who are incapable of polytheism. They do it. They bow down to Adam. But they don't bow down to the muck within us. The accumulation of years of laziness, of absent-mindedness, distractedness, and really wasting our precious years. Nor are they bowing down to our precious consciousness, our will, self. When we think about it, that's not such an impressive thing either. They're bowing down to something within us that we can't quite define or grasp. But something within us that we know before we know everything else, because it's the thing that the baby has, a certain self-awareness, the formed miracle of consciousness that the child has. Whatever our earliest memories might be, we have a very strong sense at that time that we are ourselves looking out upon this world that often